This is YusefAlTahirs. May God save Serbia and Syria. And my sister's still alive, so that's good news. For those people who tried to call me last night, I'm very sorry. I ran out of juice. I don't know, around 6 o'clock or something, maybe earlier, and then didn't wake up until about 1 a.m. I really miss Christopher Hitchens. Even when he was alive, I was getting kind of nervous because I'd watch hour upon hour upon hour, even C-SPAN stuff of him, and I'm like, oh, there's no more, there's no more stuff. But then he did that thing with, he did that debate with Tony Blair where he just smashed Tony Blair to pieces. I recently watched a video that was clips of Dr. Lane Craig, and his arguments were good in that, but again, I don't like ontological arguments. I don't know if he goes into those. Cosmological is either you see it or you don't. This is why I don't argue atheism. I'll argue about atheists being jerks and hypocritical and evil, but Hitchens wasn't one of those. Hitchens, I really miss him. And the atheists that I have to deal with on YouTube, it seems that they're taking their cue from Dawkins or any other weird, unthought out things. There were lines that Hitchens wouldn't cross. After reading the memoirs of Mother Teresa, when they were made open about her battling of faith, you could see he actually felt bad. He actually expressed it. He actually said that he felt bad for her and felt that she was used, and that he probably wouldn't have made the thing Mother Teresa. I forget the name of the mini documentary that he made about her. But yeah, it seems like the last good atheist is gone. I almost feel like feigning being an atheist to step into his shoes. As I said before, if I ever become an atheist or a Satanist, you will never know, because I will still be practicing orthodoxy. And I've been saying that the whole time that I've been Orthodox. Well, not the whole time, but the whole time I've been Orthodox on YouTube. And that led a lot of people to say that I was a Satanist and that I was sacrificing people in my backyard and all kinds of weird crap. I don't even have a house in Chicago anymore. So where's my backyard at? Where's that, one very fanatical person that said, well, the Catholic priests molest children, and all the horrible stuff and this and that, and I went through that. And then I said, you were a Catholic? And they go, oh no, I was a Pentecostal, but the same thing happened to me. And then I said, well, I'm not Roman Catholic, that our parish priests are married, that it doesn't matter anyways. Anybody could molest anyone. You don't need to be religious to do that. And this person just went off on all this stuff and claiming that I'm a Satanist and I'm not a Christian, and I'm sure there's people who see my recent videos about nonviolence that would see me as a very violent person, even though I'm not. But yeah, I really miss Hitchens. He had some great arguments. I think the only one that actually, because, and I'll say this again, I think he smashed Turk. I don't think Dr. Lane Craig tried to even debate him. He just had his lines that he was throwing out. I think the only debates that were worth watching were the ones well, no, they were all worth watching because Hitchens is a blast to watch. Was against Dinesh D'Souza. And there was a few things that Dinesh D'Souza says that really clicked with me. That I was like, huh. Because I side with the atheist argument pretty much to a T, because basically the working definition, the definition of God that they're using, that they're working with, is basically a Western Christian God or a Islamic God. It's not necessarily, I mean, it's really, orthodoxy doesn't come into it. This is why we don't proselytize. This is why I say it's experiential, so I'm not gonna try to, I will never argue anybody into it. I'm not gonna go out and, this and that, and and I feel closer to atheists than I do to Protestants in most situations. In most, there's Christians out there who are of not any persuasion that I feel close to, and I will willingly call them my brother in Christ. There's many Protestants I say to that too. But as I said before, I said orthodoxy, the God of orthodoxy, which I write capital G-D. I never spell it out. Is more akin to the Tao than it is to the Western God. And somebody said, well, the Tao is impersonal. The Eastern God does have personal aspect to it. How do you mean? How can you say that? And I said, well, it's more like it's like saying a horse is more like a cow than it is an alligator. It's not the exact same thing, obviously. Again, if people want to get a grasp of orthodoxy, just listen to All Saints Monastery. But I mean, there's been some really. If you get blocked from a channel, do you create another channel on YouTube to go back onto that channel? Again, it's the atheists have Protestantism down, or at least the proselytizing fundamentalist Christian Protestantism down to a T. I mean, they will not relent. I don't want to have a conversation with you. I mean, it's the whole issue of Protestantism, of saving souls, but this has gone into atheism. I wish atheism had not developed out of David Hume and all that kind of stuff. I wish it would have arisen out of something. And I don't mean just the lack of belief in God, but this structural form thing that we call atheism, because atheism just being lack of belief in God that's just a personal thing, and it's a negative. It's apophatic, and apophatic might not be the right word. But it's not saying anything, really. I mean, you're not finding anything out, really. I mean, it's just like saying, I don't have yellow skin. Well, that wouldn't even exclude me from being Chinese, or, I mean, I don't think well, you would just assume, okay, you're not jaundice. Your liver is functioning at a fairly reasonable rate for you to be alive. But the atheists on YouTube their arguments are non sequiturs. They really are. There's Theophage that is an atheist that will actually linear argue, and I've come across a few atheists on YouTube that will actually stand up for what they believe in, or don't believe in, or believe against, and you can have a discussion with them, a dialogue of question and answer, and then you can get to a final point. Whereas I find that the majority of these new YouTube very proselyte, because if you block them, or if you say or don't respond, they don't care. They move on, next subject. They don't. It's not deeply passionate with them. But these new YouTube atheists, or whatever, I don't know what to call, fundamentalist atheists, let's just say. They're fundamentalist Christians that have gone one less God. They will pursue you. They will not engage in dialogue. They'll just throw out just things. Well, how did Jesus do this? Or how did this happen? Or The Gospel of Matthew reports everybody rising from the grave. Why don't we have accounts of that? Why don't, you know? And then they'll even throw in fake stuff like, why haven't we found any account of Jesus among Pilate's records? There's no such thing as the records of Pilate. It doesn't exist. They throw out these non-existing things, and half the time they might not even know that they're non-existent. But it's I actually wish atheists would there'd be another Christopher Hitchens to come up and take its place, because Harris and Dennett, Harris, okay, the stuff I've seen of him was pretty good. Dennett was just boring, and Dawkins is just so, I don't know, he's just a pompous, effeminate ass that thinks he's better than everybody else. It's like he likes to smell his own farts. He's just creepy. That's funny that I was about to say I'm praying that there's another Hitchens to come up, but sadly I think he's one of a kind. I think there's only once in a lifetime that you get somebody like that, a fantastic human being. And I do miss him. Again, I don't personally know him, but watching, you know, probably about 5 days worth of footage and stuff with him on there, it's one of the people that I would have liked to meet. That was a man, and he is missed. And I've gotten a sassier, well, did you know him? How did you know? You can miss somebody without personally knowing them. I mean, people mourned when JFK got shot. But yeah, too bad he's not around. Again, I don't like talking to atheists. I will not argue. If you don't believe in God, fine. I could not care less. I don't care. I don't have the Protestant God where you automatically go to hell as an atheist or anything like that. These people, they have no concept of Eastern Orthodox. Well, then you're evil if you're not trying to just proselytize to me and do everything you can to get me to come there, because then I'd be going to hell. No, we don't even have a heaven or hell. They're not two different places. They're metaphors for the afterlife, which is just going back to the existing one. I mean, and this sounds crazy to an atheist. I know it does. I used to to the point of almost hating God, not hating God, but just being like, this is, once we eradicate faith, that's the good thing. Well, Orthodoxy doesn't really have faith like the West has faith. Faith, this should be translated in our terms as loyalty or faithfulness, but it's teaching atheists about Eastern Orthodoxy is not possible because it's experiential. It's like trying to teach a blind person what white, black, neon green, and dark purple look like, or trying to describe it to them. It's useless. It sounds like insanity, and there's no point. All right, the atheists out there, go live a good, long, happy life. I don't care. Peace to you. May God save Serbia and Syria. Pick up the, you know what, atheists, because you do need ritual and dogma in your life. This here, the Satanic Bible, pick that up, read it. Be a Satanist. Ayn Rand, even better, Ayn Rand, The Virtue of Selfishness. Check that out. Do that. Okay? That'll suit you. This will make you become more like Eastern Orthodox. It's strange to say, and I know that's going to scare a lot of the Protestants that watch my videos, but it will. Another smart guy. Alright. Peace to you. May God save Serbia and Syria. With he did the debate with Tony Blair where he just smashed Tony Blair to pieces. I recently watched a video by that was clips of Dr. Lane Craig, and his arguments were good in that, but again, I don't like ontological arguments. I don't know if he goes into those. Cosmological is either you see it or you don't. It's earlier, and then didn't wake up until about 1 a.m. I really miss Christopher Hitchens. Even when he was alive, I was getting kind of nervous because I'd watch hour upon hour upon hour, even C-SPAN stuff of him, and I'm like, oh, there's no more, there's no more stuff. But then he did that thing. This is YusefAlTahirs. May God save Serbia and Syria, and my sister's still alive, so that's good news. For those people who tried to call me last night, I'm very sorry. I ran out of juice. I don't know, around 6 o'clock or something, maybe. This is why I don't argue atheism. I'll argue about atheists being jerks and hypocritical and evil, but Hitchens wasn't one of those. Hitchens, I really miss him. And the atheists that I have to deal with on YouTube, it seems that they're taking their cue from Dawkins or any other weird, unthought out things. There were lines that Hitchens wouldn't cross. After reading the memoirs of Mother Teresa, when they were made open about her battling of faith, you could see he actually felt bad. He actually expressed it. He actually said that he felt bad for her and felt that she was used, and that he probably wouldn't have made the thing Mother Teresa. I forget the name of the mini documentary that he